Only in Kentucky could one county be the second smallest by area and be home to a massive, now unused, sports complex. Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm learning a little bit more about Kentucky. One county at a time. All 120 of them. And today, I'm talking about Gallatin County. If you haven't already, I hope you check out the other counties I've covered. They're all listed in the playlist on my profile. If I haven't covered yours yet, I'll get to it soon, I promise. I'm going in mostly alphabetical order. And if you see that I skipped one, it probably just means that I'm saving it for the end because it'll need multiple parts. And as always, if I miss something, feel free to correct me in the comments so we can all learn together, even Riley here. Gallatin County was formed on December 14th, 1798. It was one of Kentucky's early counties, created from parts of Franklin and Shelby, and named for Albert Gallatin, who later served as Secretary of the Treasury under Thomas Jefferson. The county seat is Warsaw, and the county sits along the Ohio River across from Indiana. It is also the second smallest county in Kentucky by area. If you look at a map, this makes sense. Gallatin's geography explains most of its story. The Ohio River is the northern edge of the county. Inland, you're in the rolling northern Kentucky terrain that feeds into that same river system. Waterways, of course, determined where people settled and where businesses formed and where transportation took place. And Gallatin County used to be much, much bigger than what it is today, though. After Gallatin was created, Kentucky kept carving pieces off of it to form other counties, such as Owen County, which was created in 1819, Trimble 1836, Carroll in 1838, and by the time that reshaping was done, Gallatin was about 1/10 of its original size. Warsaw, its county seat, sits right on the Ohio River. Warsaw began in 1798 as an Ohio River landing called Great Landing. In the early 1800s, founder Colonel Robert Johnson surveyed the area and built a road inland from the landing, which helped turn it into a working shipping point. By 1814, Johnson and Henry Yates bought land to establish a town. They initially planned to name it Fredericksburg, after Johnson's hometown in Virginia, and by 1815 they had plotted the town lots and streets. However, the name changed. The town, which was Fredericksburg, the U.S. Postal Service didn't really like that. They didn't want it sharing a name with another Fredericksburg in Kentucky, and needed something distinct. The name Warsaw was suggested, supposedly, by a riverboat captain who was reading a popular novel at the time, Thaddeus of Warsaw by Jane Porter. And the new name stuck. By the 1830s, Warsaw had become the county seat. And once Warsaw is established as the seat, you can basically track the county's history through what the river made possible. The Ohio River is a transportation corridor, but in the 1800s, it was also a workplace, a marketplace, and a moving highway before highways existed. It was a highway of people and cargo. That really brings us to the central story for Gallatin County that I'd like to talk about, and is the one event people still associate with Warsaw more than anything else. On December 4th, 1868, two passenger steamers collided on the Ohio River near Warsaw. One was called the America. The other was called the United States. The United States ship was carrying cargo of kerosene barrels, and after the collision, that cargo, as you can imagine, caught fire. The flames spread to the other boat, and many passengers died by burning or drowning. The combined death toll was 162, making it one of the deadliest steamboat accidents in American history. And you can picture what passenger travel looked like back then. A steamboat was not a small group of people. It was packed with people or cargo. And a collision on a cold river at night with kerosene involved, you can certainly see how that mass casualty could happen. After the Civil War, Gallatin also saw the kind of instability that a lot of Kentucky counties saw during Reconstruction. There was the 1866 Gallatin County race riot, where white mobs in the Klan violence forced hundreds of black residents to flee across the Ohio River into Indiana. A decade later, in 1876, a white mob lynched Benjamin and Molly French in Warsaw. Commercial river trade declined by the 20th century. The steamboat era ends, and the county becomes less about river shipping and more about roads, commuting, and regional infrastructure. By post-World War II period, highways reshaped travel and employment patterns. Gallatin County is crossed by I-71, US 42, US 127, and by the 1980s, more than half of the county's population was employed outside of the county itself. As you can imagine, that's kind of a big deal. It basically turns Gallatin into a rural county that is tied into the Cincinnati region by car. Another major modern infrastructure project sits on the Ohio River just west of Warsaw. Construction on the Markland Locks and Dam began in 1956 and was completed in 1964. It's a hydroelectric power plant, was built there in 1967, and it provided jobs. That dam also changes the practical relationship between the county and the river. As you can imagine, it turns a portion of that river into a managed system with locks, commercial navigation, and power generation. Now, the other thing that people like to associate with Gallatin County is something quite massive. Kentucky Speedway. Kentucky Speedway sits in Sparta, and it is the most visible, modern era symbol of the county. This is not an active NASCAR venue anymore. Kentucky Speedway hosted Cup Series races for years, but it was removed from NASCAR's 2021 schedule after the 2020 season. So when people say Gallatin County has a speedway, what they often mean is Gallatin County has the footprint of a major sports facility and the ongoing question of what comes after it. When a county of under 9,000 people has a giant facility like that inside of it, the ripple effects touch everything. Land use decisions, employment, tax base, regional traffic patterns, how outsiders picture the county, even maybe the county self-image itself. And the Speedway is still there, it just hasn't hosted any Cup races since 2020, and the longer-term future of it has been a question now for years. The county population was about 8,600 people in the 2020 census. It is part of the Cincinnati metro area, but is also fully rural by census urban classification. So, that's Gallatin County. What'd I get wrong this time?